Elation and jubilation, gamers from all around the world. I am Lucian and this is the World Gamer Show. After seeing how well my previous video about the PS Vita TRUE exclusives performed, and I have you guys to thank for that, I decided to give it another round, especially because you guys responded so well, even pushing me to do more videos related to the PS Vita, which is one of my favorite topics anyway. But this time we're going full digital, and there is a very good reason for that. In my last video I had to give a bad news about the shutting down of the digital stores of PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita and PlayStation Portable. While at the time it was mainly based on a rumor, it has now been confirmed. On July the 2nd, the PS3 and PSP digital stores will be permanently closed, while on August the 27th, 2021, it will be the PS Vita's turn to have its digital store shut down. And while Sony assured that you will still be able to download all the digital games that you've already purchased, you still won't be able to buy from those stores anymore. I've already dwelled on how this totally kills all the original PlayStation's digital library, which was effectively downloadable only from these three consoles' digital stores. However, I've also expressed sadness for all those digital exclusives which will be locked from us from that point on. This time I want to focus on the PS Vita, because it is actually the younger victim of all.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
At the end of the day, the Vita is the most recent platform out of the bunch, with many games that are going to be lost forever that are less than 10 years old.
Think of the children! Won't somebody please think of the children?
No, stop. Think of the children.
And that didn't quite have the chance and time to properly shine. So at least I want to try and give them just that, a time to shine. There are so many digital-only PS Vita exclusive games which never received a physical release, not even in Japan, so once the PS Store will shut down, there will be no physical way to preserve these games, and will be totally inaccessible, through ordinary/legal means at least. Again, I'm not counting games that have been re-released, like on Steam or Switch for example. Those games got lucky. I'm talking once again about true exclusives here. Games that you can't play anywhere else but on the Vita, and that you can't get anywhere else but from the PS Store while it's still operative. So if you're seeing this video after the 27th of August 2021, these are games that are now forever locked in the inaccessible depths of the PS Store. Also stay tuned until the end of the video, because I will also point out some free games you can download right now on your PS Vita before the store closes down. So are you ready? These are the PS Vita's true digital exclusives. NekoBuro Cat Blocks is my secret addiction and that of my girlfriend on the Vita. This is an incredibly clever variant on the classic colored block matching games, like Puyo Puyo. However, the twist here is that the blocks always come in group of 3, one on top of the other, and you can't change the shape, which will always be of 3 blocks vertically placed. You can only change the order of the colored cats. Place 3 cats of the same color one next to the other to make them disappear, even diagonally. On top of that, there are many power-ups that lets you clear the screen in many different ways. In addition to the classic high-score oriented survival mode, there is also a story mode, with each level putting you under different circumstances and against sometimes almost impossible odds. It's an incredibly underrated puzzle game that doesn't even cost that much, and for what it offers, it's a steal, so go get it now. Chronovolt is an interesting one. Do you remember those labyrinth games in which you tried to guide the ball to the destination while avoiding holes, and you made the ball move by actually tilting and balancing the table itself? If not, you're probably too young to remember. But this game basically uses the same principles. Even though in here you control the ball, you don't really tilt the environment, more like the immortal classic Marble Madness, but avoids any frustration by giving you the option to rewind time to give you second and third chances whenever you need, which will be often. You can use the gyroscope of the Vita, of course, but I find that the analog stick is the way to go here, because I think it offers much better precision. Overall, quite a nice experience, which can easily suck up many hours. Created by one of the authors of the cult classic Shadows of the Damned, Murasaki Baby shares the craziness of its stories and artistic style, and nothing more, as the gameplay couldn't be more different. This is a side-scrolling puzzle platformer which successfully implements many of the PS Vita features in very clever ways. For example, you don't actually control the character directly. You need to hold her hand to make her move, and use her balloon to solve the puzzles the game will throw at you. Contrary to other games, for which these touch controls feel often tacked on, Murasaki Baby embraces them and makes them the main way of control. The other side of the coin is that, admittedly, this way of controlling the character isn't very immediate. But this is still a very original experience, which shouldn't be missed, so I still suggest you to grab it while you can. Monster Bag is another weird game which puts you in the figurative shoes of a monster that tries to move stealthily in the world of humans, with the objective to join his fellow monster friends. The moment he's seen, he gets brutally murdered, so it is imperative not to be seen. To do that, our monster can swiftly move behind people, while also trying to distract them with objects found in the environment. With clever use of the touchscreen and beautiful, humorous and yet simplistic art style, this puzzle game is bound to keep your brain busy for hours. Zeron is one of those auto-run games which you would usually play with your smartphones and are usually for free. This one's not, so it's already a tough sell. However, its zombie horror take on the auto-run formula is not to underestimate. One thing that sets it apart from other auto-runners is that in this one you're not stuck in tracks. You can gradually move left and right and not jump from one track to the other. The adventure mode sees you running through many levels while increasing your abilities and statistics, which are essential because they impact the gameplay for real. For example, there is a stamina bar which you consume gradually when you jump or slide, so this also adds a strategic layer to the gameplay. You can also gather items to help you in your escape, and once the adventure is over, you can test your skills with the endless mode. Not the best game on this list, admittedly, but might still be worth of your attention if you're into this kind of time wasters. Body Check is a sports game similar to rugby, in which you need to score by getting the ball into the goal of the opponent's team. Of course, like in real rugby, of which I am by no means an expert, you can use brute force to tackle your opponents and get the ball. However, unlike rugby, you can use magic spells here. The graphics are very colorful, and the environment and cartoony art style give a sort of Gladiators vibe, which is pretty cool. Overall, it's a decent game, but it doesn't have deep mechanics or anything, but it's ideal for short bursts of simple fun. Also, I would like to quickly mention the most recent digital exclusive on PS Vita, Gods of Almagest. In a way, this is an honorable mention, or rather dishonorable, because there was so much hype about this game being released very recently in February, and everybody was going crazy when the trophies leaked, because the name was so like fantasy sounding. Maybe it will be an RPG or even a shooter, which have a tendency to have some weird abstract names sometimes. But now, it was just a very basic puzzle game, and kinda pricey too. Basically, you guide a little spaceship, and the objective is to turn as many squares of this grid into red, and you do that by shooting at each side of the square until it turns red. In the meantime, the godly opponent will try and do the same, and turn as many into blue, and will also throw some enemy ships at you. Very basic and very boring. This is not how I want to remember the PS Vita's digital catalog. But the good news is that, as promised, the next games are available for free and are also PS Vita digital exclusives, so don't let them pass you by. Imagininstrument isn't a proper game. It's more like an app, and it allows you to create your own bits and pieces of music. Now, you can't do too much with this. You can just increase the beats and slightly alter the sound of the notes in a predetermined musical base. It's not very deep, and it is again more of a time waster rather than a proper music tool, but it's free, so you might as well give it a try. I have to say that I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It can really be a relaxing experience. PS Home Arcade Player is another oddity. Those old enough to remember the PS Home application on PlayStation 3 will remember that you could also play some arcade games in there, complete with virtual cabinets and all. Well, some of those arcade games have also been ported to the PS Vita and compiled into one single game. And since the PS Home on PS3 is long gone, these games have now become exclusive to the PS Vita. Included are the elusive Wipeout 2D, a super cute top-down version of the classic Wipeout futuristic racing games, Icebreaker, a decent clone of Breakout and Arkanoid, and a demo level of Scribble Shooter, which is by far the best game, but it's only a demo sadly, and is itself also another victim of the demise of the old digital, with the full game being purchasable and playable only through the now defunct PS Home. However, this package is completely free, so you should definitely download it. So that does it. Admittedly, not all games are on the same level of quality, but considering that there is still some enjoyment to be had, and that they will soon be gone for good, unless they get re-released, I think they're all worth a shot in their own right. Even though games actually began to be pulled off from the store even before now, with illustrious cases like Uncharted The Fight for Fortune, which I will develop to include it here. I hope it might get re-released maybe one day. Heck, I wish for all these games to be re-released one day. But truth is that, even if some games get re-released though, there will always be some that will be left in the dark if Sony doesn't do anything to revive the whole library. I fear that at some point, Sony will even remove the possibility for gamers to download the games that they've previously purchased, because they can, and you wouldn't be able to do much about it. It's actually mentioned in the terms and conditions that we all agree to when we buy a digital game. They can technically pull anything from the store, remove your chance to re-download it, and get away with it. Basically, you don't really buy games, you just buy the rights to use them for as long as Sony allows you to. This topic is highly controversial and saddening for sure, but the good news is that there is still time to buy and preserve these games. If you ask me, this might be one more reason to hack the PS Vita and the PS TV. If Sony doesn't give a damn about it, why shouldn't we be free to hack it? But be mindful that I only say this for gaming preservation purposes. I still think that buying this game is the right thing to do in order to support the developers that insisted in doing what not even Sony could care enough to do: support the Vita. And that's what I urge and beg you to do as well. Support this wonderful console until the end. Give the Vita one more spark of, well, life. There are many more titles that I didn't include, otherwise this video would have taken too long. So let me know as usual down in the comments if you're interested in a second part to this video. Which games would you include? And what do you guys think of this whole situation of the PS Vita store shutting down? Are you going to raid the PS Store with anything that might interest you? If so, which games are you going to pick up? Thank you guys for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, maybe subscribe, like and share it if you feel like doing it. No pressure at all. My work here depends solely on your moral support and that of your views and likes. I decided not to open a Patreon because I don't want to ask my viewers and subscribers for money, so it really does mean the world to me when you guys show me your support. So thank you again. I will be seeing you in my next video, but until then, stay safe, play safe, world gamers.